Hello everybody, welcome to another video. This is going to be my start of my new weekly video releases. And about a week ago when I put out my Should I Stay or Should I Go video, I had almost a couple hundred comments and emails from my community on things that I could do to improve my viewership, maybe gain some new followers, etc. Just basically just kind of let everybody know, hey, I'm still out here and, hey, check out what I have to say. So a couple of comments really grabbed me, and it made me start thinking, and it actually really inspired me to make this video. And I'm calling this video, Why Do You Just Watch D&D 5e? I mean, that's a great topic to talk about. And, first thing I want to do is let everybody know that, hey, this is not a rib on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I've had people say, hey, Digital Dave or Digital Dungeon Master, now that you're not doing 5e anymore, why do you hate it so much? I never said that I hated D&D 5e. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I love D&D 5e, and if I didn't enjoy it, if I didn't love it, I would have played it for almost 8 to 9 solid years, going back to the D&D Next playtest until, just a couple of weeks ago. In fact, I'm still playing D&D 5e in a Lost Mine of Phandelver campaign, so I don't hate D&D 5e, and I would challenge anyone to find anything where I said, hey, I hate D&D 5e, because I've not said that. So I just want to, put that out there, is that this is not a rib on D&D 5e. But, a lot of comments, and, I want to also say that, hey, this is not a rib on my community either. This is not a rib on any of my viewers that have made comments. And I'm not going to name drop, but there were a couple of comments that actually inspired me to make this video. And, there's two of them that really stuck out to me. And the first one, I'll go ahead and I'll talk about now. And the comment was, hey, Dave, I followed you for D&D 5e, and I'm not going to watch anything you do, miniature unboxings, Savage Worlds games, Pathfinder 2, Starfinder, Savage Worlds, nothing, because I followed you for D&D 5e. Well, I mean, that's a valid point, and I've seen that several times, but I don't see why. I mean, there's no, hey, it's just, I literally take this negatively. Just because I'm not running 5e, you're just going to just stop watching? I mean, that's fine. It's totally up to you. You have the right to do that, and I'm not ribbing you out. I'm not calling you out by name or anything like that, but why do you just watch D&D 5e? And I have some questions for you, and I really want to know down in the comments section, because I love you, as all of you know, I love reading the comments section, and I do really reply to everybody. So, I mean, the first thing I want to ask you is, when you say you're not going to watch anything but D&D 5e, and I'm going to subscribe, and maybe down the line when you start running D&D 5e again, I'll start watching you again. So, I mean, is it just because, and like I said, don't take this the wrong way, because I'm not trying to rib on anybody. Is it because you just think that every game sucks that isn't D&D 5e? That's a valid question, because, and in fact, I'll tell you a short story. I used to think that way. When I was growing up, when I was a kid, my 20s and 30s, I thought every game that wasn't labeled as Wizards of the Coast or TSR, I just automatically thought that game sucked. There were a few exceptions. Talislanta, that was a game that I really enjoyed. I really liked playing some Star Frontiers, but that was TSR, so that fit under the TSR umbrella. So, I mean, is it just that you think every game sucks that isn't labeled Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition, the greatest game in the world. I mean, I really would like to know. Because I had that same type of outlook on other games. I mean, until I was probably in my early 40s, late 30s, early 40s. And I had a couple people introduce me to Dragon Age, and it was a D6 game, and it actually reminded me of the old West End games from Star Wars in the 80s, in case any of you old grognards remember that game. So we had played it a couple times. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was Star Wars. So I tried Dragon Age, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I was like, wow, there are some pretty good games out here that aren't labeled Dungeons and Dragons. And so I'm wondering, hey, is that what you think? Is it just 5e is the end-all, be-all to all games, and you just think that everything else by default sucks? I want to know. I want to know down in the comments section. Is it maybe you're new to RPGs? And maybe you are learning Dungeons and Dragons 5e, which is a really good game to, put your foot into the RPG industry. It's very player friendly. It's very new player friendly. And it's also very new Dungeon Master friendly. And I really think that D&D 5e is probably one of the best games out there to wet your feet with playing Dungeons and Dragons or other tabletop RPGs. No doubt about it. I say that, and I've been a firm supporter of that for years. So, is it maybe you don't have the time to learn another game? And like I said, I've really been thinking about this. This has really made me think for a week. And that's why I have all these questions. Is it just maybe that you're new to RPGs and you just don't have time, or maybe you just don't even feel like learning anything now? I can actually see that as a relevant answer, to be honest. But when I see, people that have been commenting on my channel for years, and when I see them say, I followed you for 5e and I'm going to unsubscribe because you're not doing 5e anymore. That's the whole point of me asking, because it's just, I don't hear anything else. I'm leaving because of 5e because of this. So maybe you're a new player. Maybe you just don't have time to learn something else. Maybe you just don't want to, because maybe you'll venture out and learn something else once you've got a firm grasp on D&D 5e. I think that's valid questions. And another thing is, before I move on to the other comments, for all of you grognards out there, and I call myself a grognard. I'm not being negative by saying that. I mean, I wasn't open-minded to other games, and gals, 5e is a great game. It's one of the best systems out there. But I hope folks are open-minded as well, because we are in a renaissance of RPGs. With the sheer amount of Kickstarters going on, there's so many new games coming out all the time. Small game companies like AAW, like Legendary, like Kobold Press, Pinnacle Entertainment, and many more, they don't have to worry about big publishing houses anymore. So 20 years ago, a lot of these games, a lot of these companies probably wouldn't even exist now if this was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because of what Kickstarter has done, and print on demand, and Amazon, and the internet, what it's done for all of these beautiful small game companies. So I hope you are open-minded as well, because there are so many great games out there. And in fact, there's some games out there that are just as good as D&D 5e, or maybe if you ask some people, they may say that they are even better than D&D 5e. So that's all I ask. Especially looking back at myself 8 years ago, where I didn't look at anything besides D&D, be open-minded. Kind of, check out other games. I mean, they're just so, there's so many good games out there now. Maybe, and here's one other thing that maybe your players don't want to try. Is it maybe your players just don't want to learn anything else? Is that it? Could that be it as well? I mean, ask yourself this. I mean, are these your real life friends that you've been gaming with for years? Maybe talk to them and say, hey, maybe let's try something else, because I've actually had my players approach me. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to take a break from D&D, is because my players wanted to play other things. I mean, we had played D&D 5e since D&D Next. Maybe they're just, maybe if they're not your real life friends, maybe it's time to find some new players, especially if you are wanting to try another game, but your players don't want to. Just remember, there's hundreds and hundreds of players for every DM or GM. So you can easily find other players. If you're not happy running a certain game and you want to play something else, maybe you need to talk to your friends, or maybe just take a break and find some new players, because you can go on fantasygrounds.com, you can go on the forums and you can advertise a game and it will fill up in not even probably in a day, depending on what you want to run. So maybe that's something. But have some open-mindedness. I mean, yeah, I really think some of you out there should probably think about that. I mean, it's like I said, I'm not ribbing on you as a viewer. I appreciate all of you as viewers, but I just would like to know this as well. And you want me to do more videos talking to the community, and this is what I'm doing. I'm doing what the community wants me to do. And I think this is not only good for me, but I think it's good for anyone that's watching this video or reading the comments section down below. So I mentioned that I had another comment as well that really stuck with me and resonated with me, and was another piece of inspiration to make this video. And it's sort of like the opposite of the persons that don't want to watch anything but D&D 5e. And they are going to unsubscribe and go to another channel. And that's fine with me. There's 1,000,001 D&D 5e channels out there. You will find something. And if you don't want to find it with me, feel free. You have the freedom to go and find another D&D channel that will fulfill your needs. So on the flip coin of that, the other comment that really got me thinking was, hey, I followed you for D&D 5e. And I was really disappointed when you stopped running D&D 5e, but your other games, the story is so good that it doesn't matter to me now that you're not playing D&D 5e, because I know the story and your players are engaging me enough to keep coming back and watch episode after episode. And that, they're talking about my Pathfinder 2 Extinction Curse campaign, which we just wrapped up yesterday. And that was a very fun game. And we got to an excellent stopping point after book 2, which was a perfect ending for it anyway. But who knows? Maybe we'll come back down the line in the future and start book 3. But that comment also resonated with me. And that was, that was the complete opposite of the first comment that resonated with me. To me, if I'm watching a game, I like the story. It doesn't matter to me about if they're playing Pathfinder, if they're playing Starfinder or Traveler or Savage Worlds, D&D 5e, it doesn't matter. If they can keep me tuned into that channel or on that video, they're doing a good job. And I think the story for me is important, because I want to be engaged. I want to come back every time they do a game, and I want to see those characters evolve. I want to see the story evolve. So, that was one of the comments that was actually really nice to read, saying, hey, I followed you for D&D 5e, but your other games are great too. Entertaining story, entertaining players. And I've actually had a lot of people say, hey, I love that 3-point action economy in Pathfinder 2. And I actually picked up the PDF and I started reading the game and I really like it. And I'm looking forward to getting into a game. So, that's nice to read because there are a lot of great games out there. And that's not to take it, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, folks. This doesn't take anything away from D&D 5e. D&D 5e is probably one of the best games ever created. I mean, RPGs, tabletop RPGs, are more famous than ever before. All of these closet D&D players are coming out of the woodwork, like Vin Diesel and, Stephen Colbert and all these other guys saying, oh, yeah, I've loved D&D my whole life. So 20 years ago, I bet you they wouldn't have said that. But, I mean, it's, like I said, we have a renaissance of RPGs going on. Tabletop RPGs are more famous than ever before. And I think it's great for the hobby. And it's nice to see this. So, but yeah, and the last thing I would talk about is, if I ran a game... Okay, because I'm going to be running one game a week. So what if I converted, and a lot of people like D&D, the starter box set, The Lost Mine of Fandover. That's one of my favorite adventures of all time. I've ran it 5 times. I have 5 playlists on my channel here. I love the game. I love that story. It has a lot of sandbox elements. It's got a great storyline, and I really like it. And the players have always liked it. So what if I took something like Lost Mine of Fandover and I converted it to play with Savage Worlds? Or maybe I converted it to play with Pathfinder 2. You know the story. Would you not watch it just because I converted it to Savage Worlds or Pathfinder 2, even though it has the same identical story elements? Would you want to watch something like that? I think it would be fantastic. I was going to say something else, but that long F turned into a fantastic. I think it would be fantastic to convert it to Savage Worlds and play it, with Acing Die, or maybe play it with Pathfinder 2 and those classes and the 3-point action economy. I think that would be great. Would you watch something like that, or would you not watch it simply because it's not D&D 5e? I could probably I don't want to do anything shady like this, but I could advertise it as a D&D 5e game, and I bet most people wouldn't even know that we're playing Savage Worlds. Or people probably wouldn't even know that we're playing it Pathfinder, unless you're like some really detailed min-max player or something like that. Maybe you would be the one that would say, I'm not watching anything but D&D 5e, and I'm leaving your channel, take care. I'm taking my Legos and I'm going home. Fine, But I think those are all valid questions to ask, and like I said, those 2 comments really inspired me and motivated me to make this video, and I want to hear what my community has to say about this. And like I said, 3 or 4 times now, this is no rib on D&D 5e. I love D&D 5e. I'm going to be starting another D&D 5e game here in the future. We're going to be running some third-party stuff. Maybe Adventure Week games, maybe something from Kobold Press, maybe something from Legendary Games. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, thank you everybody for watching this video. And please, please, please do me a couple of favors. First off, leave a comment down below because I'm going to respond to you. I want to see what you, the community, have to say about my question of why do you only watch D&D 5e? Maybe that question doesn't even pertain to you. And some of you out there, it doesn't. But still feel free to leave a comment. And then secondly, if you liked what you saw, please thumbs up the video. It helps with the algorithms of YouTube. And also, if you like what you saw, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And right next to it, hit that live notification button whenever I go live or whenever, because I'm going to start streaming my games and all of my streams through YouTube from now on. And also, you'll get notifications when I release my videos. And lastly, I have a new miniature channel, which is, the link is going to be down below, and it's called David's World of Miniatures. And I've got 10,000 plus pre-painted minis, and starting next Monday, I'm going to have all new videos multiple times a week going up on that site. So they're going to be in beautiful HD. They are going to look so much better than the old way of me doing miniature videos. So anyways, please jump in on the conversation, folks, and thank you so much for watching my video. I totally appreciate it. My name is David, the Digital Dungeon Master, and thank you for letting me be with you for the last 8 to 9 years. I really appreciate it. So until next video, happy gaming and stay safe. Bye for now.